Welcome to another episode of Mike Drop. Today I am here with Robin Sharma. Robin, how are you?
I'm doing good, Mike. How are you?
Good. Why don't you start off and tell people how long you've been in real estate?
Well, I've been doing this thing for 3 years. 1 year was a solo production that I did by myself, and the other two was like with you and your company.
Oh, wow. Gotcha. So let me ask you something. What got you into real estate? And I guess more importantly, what did you do before you got in?
Oh, well, not a lot of people know that I worked as a Chipotle for 5 years. I did that, and then after that, I was a security officer, and then slowly I made my transition into real estate.
Okay, I got to ask you, how do you go from making tacos and burritos and nachos into real estate?
You don't. Most people don't. I just happen to be the crazy person that took the leap of faith and, thought that this wasn't a good idea for me. I did it for about 5 years. I figured that this is not something that I want to do for the rest of my life. So, the real estate was like one of the avenues that I looked into and then made my decision to commit to it.
So what was it about real estate that you thought was so fascinating or like intrigued you? Because it's so funny that everyone looks at like $1 million real estate agent and they're spoiled when the truth is they should be showing like $1 agent or like a half a penny agent, because people don't realize that what they see is the after product. And the truth is a $1 agent would probably give you a much better idea of what it takes to be successful. So, what did you think a real estate agent did that intrigued you to say, I want to do that?
Truth be told, I had little to no idea about real estate at all. I kind of heard, agents, they help you buy and sell homes. So I figured maybe if I wore a suit and I showed some fancy houses, that's kind of what I would want to do. But the reality was like it's completely different. Once you get into it, you see that, it's so much more difficult. It's not the same thing that you see on television or on Netflix. It's completely different.
Yeah, I remember when I first got into real estate, I remember 100% commission. I actually envisioned like the Wolf of Wall Street. I imagined everybody in there at 6:30 or 7 o'clock pounding the phones out because you're 100% commission. And I'll never forget, like my first day, I literally walk in at 6:30 and no one's there, and 7:30 no one's there, and 8:30 no one's there, and 9:30 no one's there, and finally around 10 o'clock I think there was a guy, Rick Groover, that came in, and I remember just thinking like, what the hell have I got myself into? So let me ask you something. Did you go directly into real estate, or were you making tacos and burritos and doing real estate at the beginning? Because I think a lot of people, they don't know, should they go right in or should they try to stay here? What did that look like, that transition from burrito to real estate agent?
Yeah, the transition was like, I was making burritos and tacos, and, that's kind of what I did for at least, the good half of my first, in the beginning. Because again, I worked as a Chipotle worker, and then I was also doing a security on the side. So, in the mornings I would be flipping, tacos. And then, at nighttime I would be studying for my real estate exam and just figuring out then, what do I need to do? What should I do? And little by little, I figured out a little bit.
Got you. So did you have a mentor that you followed? What did you do your first year of real estate? Where did you generate business? What kind of transactions? Like, what did the first year look like? Because, for most agents, when they get into real estate, they have no idea what they've got themselves into.
Yeah, I was actually, one of those agents that had no clue about, how to, begin my real estate journey or even anybody to reach out to. So the only other option that I had was like YouTube.com. And, I typed in how to prospect, how to find a lead, how to find a buyer, how to find a seller. And then, from there, I came across a lot of the videos that I, followed, which I thought, was a good idea for me to learn. Because again, I didn't really have like in-person, coach or a mentor to tell me. So I looked into cold calling, I looked into door knocking, and then I just, took it from there.
So what was it like knocking on cold people's doors as a 6'7" male?
People were intimidated because again, it's not every day that you see a giant knocking on your door and then asking, "Hey, are you looking to sell? Are you looking to buy?" But it was a fun experience for me because again, to me, I thought it was a better approach personally because again, people were less rude and mean in person than they were over the phone.
Gotcha. So I guess in your first 12 months, making burritos, doing security, and being an agent, what kind of production did you do?
Well, I happened to sell, if I can remember, I think I sold maybe 2 houses my first year. It was bad. I did not know what I was doing. The door knocking videos, they tell you that if you knock 50 to 100 homes a year, then you have a chance. I mean, that's kind of what I did.
Okay, so let me ask you something. You're making burritos. You obviously have a security job. What made you stay in real estate selling 2 houses? Because the truth is most agents that I see, when they get adversity or when they put effort out, they quit. I think the biggest problem you have right now with real estate is that agents want to be rewarded for the work they do, not for actually being good at it. You see, when the market changes, you get rewarded based on the skills you have and the value that you bring into the marketplace. I mean, I guess for you, what made you actually decide to stay in real estate when you weren't making any money?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I mean, one of the things that I always believed in was like I wanted to do something for myself, and which is why I never really went through the 9 to 5 avenue. Because again, I'm the type of person that's willing to take a bet on myself. That I believe that if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it on my own terms. Which is why, at that time, real estate made sense. So I figured that, you get to be your own boss, you get to have your own schedule, you get to make however that you want to make. I mean, it's just a lifestyle that you get to live on your own. So
I mean, it sounds good, right?
it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what attracts a lot of people into the business.
Yeah, and I think your second transaction was with our team. I believe you did a deal with Christian, and then
Yep.
soon after that, you joined, and then your idea of freedom and having your own schedule and doing whatever you want, it kind of got thrown out the door because obviously when you came and joined our team, obviously we focus on structure, which is, 8 to 12, 12 to do admin, and then from 2 to 6 or 2 to 7, getting back on the phones. What is it like from going from doing Chipotle, security, doing what you want, and now you basically are in a jail?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I've never felt anything like that before because, again, I thought, as a Chipotle worker, you clock in at a certain time and clock out. And after that, you have nobody calling you, texting you that, hey, is the shift over or not? But, real estate is such a crazy business that, it's never really over until you actually turn off your phone.
Right.
I mean, one of the things that I experienced is that, you actually, you have a structure from 7 a.m. up until 12 and then 2 to 6 again. And then sometimes you have clients reaching out to you after hours. I mean, it's just a crazy business that I'm in.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that so many agents underestimate is the period of suck, meaning the period where you have no idea what you're doing, you fumble, you mumble, you don't believe in yourself, and you really aren't sure on any given day if what you're doing will actually work. And it's cool for me to watch all of you come in and start at that same place of sucking and not believing in yourself, because I remember looking over at you and you were whispering in on an expire call, and I remember seeing are you calling expires or are you doing phone sex, because you were whispering. I mean, what is that like to come in and fumble and mumble and be around other people that aren't doing that? Because at that point everyone pretty much had their scripts and you come in as the new person, and now you're in an environment where you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, and you're being forced to do it.
I mean, it's very intimidating. I mean, like anything that you start new, I mean, it's a very intimidating feeling when you're surrounded by people that have been doing this thing for quite some time, and they know this the scripts far better than you, and you're the new puppy in the group. You're calling and you feel intimidated. You feel like everybody's hearing you, watching you. And it's just a very intimidating feeling that you just have to go through it. I mean, I experienced it personally. And, every time, I would make a mistake, I would feel like, oh my God, people are going to make fun of me or people are going to judge me. I mean, eventually, little by little, I noticed that, these people that I'm working with, they're not judging me. They're just here to help me out and just make me better.
Right. So, it's funny that when someone new comes to the team, it's kind of like being new to someone that I coach, and that, the first things we really work on is, number one, you have to follow a productive schedule, meaning that 8 to 12, and then obviously that 2 to 6. Obviously, I'm making you learn your scripts and dialogues, and then obviously I'm making you call a volume of people every single day. So, what part of that was the hardest for you? Because I think every single agent that I work with or that comes in the business, those are the 3 things you have to master. You have to master a schedule, you have to master your scripts and dialogues, and then you have to master the art of volume calling. What was the hardest for you?
I mean, in the beginning, I would certainly say it's certainly the volume of calls that you make. I mean, nobody wants to make hundreds of contacts. I mean, it's boring, it's mundane. I mean, it's just annoying that you just got to do the repetitive stuff over and over again. But the idea is that once you make enough calls and you get comfortable on the phone and your dialogue starts to improve. I mean, then you can start transitioning to obviously your objection handlers. Then you can start working on your closings. And then obviously it gets a little bit better, but in the beginning, I mean, that's the most difficult thing that I went through personally.
Yeah, and I think the problem with that period of suck that every agent has to go through, and honestly, anybody that does anything great at some point, you just have to suck. I mean, I remember when I took up boxing, and every day I'm getting beat up, and my coach is punching in my stomach. It sucked. My body, my mind, it wasn't ready for it. It's the same thing with real estate.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go through that period. And I think the biggest problem people have with that suck, because remember, you have to suck before you get into actually learning how to win, is you don't know how long that period is going to be. How hard was that for you during that time to not know, is this going to last a week? Is it going to last a month? Is it going to last a year? Or is this just how it's going to be? Because those are the options that everybody thinks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, it took me a while to realize that, at some point I'm not going to be in this position for too long. I mean, when I was going through it, it felt like eternity. I mean, every day felt like, oh my God, like I'm in the same situation that I was in a month ago, I mean, when am I going to get better? But sooner I realized that it was the same concept that I had with basketball, because a lot of the people that didn't know that, I did play basketball. Like I noticed that, it was the same thing when I played basketball that, in the beginning I was terrible at it. But then with enough volume of, repetition and obviously enough practice that I put into it, little by little, things became a lot easier. So it was the same mentality that I had to, approach real estate with, which helped me a lot in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I was speaking to a group of agents a couple weeks ago, and one of them asked me, what's the hardest part about being a successful agent? It's boredom.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to realize something. To be successful at anything, it is boring because you have to practice the mundane things over and over and over. You think about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry. I mean, how many hours of boredom did they have to do to practice to be able to do the things that they do? And I don't think that people, they underestimate the volume that it takes to be successful, and more importantly, how boring the volume is. How hard was that for you to try to repetitiously understand that this job is boring and I have to do it anyways?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same formula. I mean, to be better at anything, you just have to, go through this process. I mean, once I realized that it's the same concept that I went through with basketball, it's the same thing that I got to go with real estate. I mean, it made it a little bit easier, but again, when you're going through it, it's not easy because again, everybody wants to get through that finish line and get better and not go through it. But you just got to realize that the pain is temporary in the moment. Eventually, it's going to end and, the results are going to pay off in the end.
Right. And I think the beautiful thing for you is I watched over 3 or 4 months. I mean, you started to dramatically improve. You started in 3 deals, 4 deals. And then there hit a period where I think you had a lot of deals fall out. And I kind of watched your confidence, your belief, and just your overall mindset. I saw that go down because a lot of people think that as a good real estate agent, you just improve your skills and it goes up. And the truth is, it doesn't happen like that. Real estate and really success is nothing more than a series of breakdowns and obviously breakthroughs. So, I mean, what were you feeling during that period, which is like right towards the end of 2024 when like you literally were not coming into the office as much? Your calls went from like 100 contacts a day to 20. And it's always funny, when people struggle at anything, they struggle with weight, they struggle with making calls, they always tend to do less. And it's like, if you think about it, if you're struggling right now as a real estate agent with making calls, you probably need to increase the volume of calls because the more people you talk to, the better chance you have of getting leads. And yet one of the things I see with almost every agent struggling is they do less.
Right.
What do you think that comes from, the mindset that I'm not getting what I want, so I should do less?
I think it certainly has to do with the proof of concept. I mean, a lot of us, it's a new journey that all of us are going through together. And, none of us have been through this situation and we're all going through it together. So like the idea is that, once you go through it, and obviously eventually, it's going to get better, but in the meantime it just feels so difficult. It feels like it's never going to end. So I mean, it's just a human reaction that, oh my God, like, if I know the outcome is going to be the same every single time, this time I'm just going to put less effort. It's going to be less painful, because again, every time I put in the effort, the outcome is that, oh my God, I'm not going to get the deal signed, or I'm not going to get a buyer to sign on the contract or their offer accepted. So this time, since it's going to, I'm just going to put in some less effort, and it's going to hurt less.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you do less, you always get less. That's just the challenge you have. And I think one of the biggest things when people go through that period is they start comparing themselves to all of the other people they think are doing better. When you were going through that time and you're seeing other people on the team being successful and you're not, what did that process feel like? When you start looking at other people, and instead of looking at how do you get better, you start judging where someone else is, not even knowing what they're feeling.
It's bad. I mean, the feeling is terrible. I mean, you feel like you're like a little puppy surrounded by the wolves, because again, you're seeing them progress so much quicker, faster, and you're struggling, and I'm struggling with the same thing that I was struggling a month ago, and nothing has progressed. I mean, it's the most painful feeling that anybody can go through. But again, it helps to have somebody like you. I mean, somebody, a mentor in their corner that's, that walks you down the road, that, everything's going to get better.
Right. I think towards the end of the year, I kind of pulled you aside and was like, Robin, like, what the hell's going on? You were like doing well, and now you're not. Like, what's going on? I mean, what was it like having that kind of come to Jesus conversation about, A, what is going on, B, how do we fix it, and really tapping back into your true power?
Yeah, I mean, having you was like the greatest thing that I've ever had. I mean, because like, again, it was a very, reflecting moment that I had. Because again, you pulled me aside and said that, what, I see you, I see you, like, I see a lot of potential in you. Like, you're settling for, a lot less. I believe that, you're the type of agent that can truly, do 5, 6, 7 deals a month very consistently. And right now, the belief that you have is not the one that I saw in you, like in the beginning of the year. So I need you to obviously, put more effort into it, just because it's difficult, and obviously, just let the work catch, to itself.
Gotcha. So why do you think you were able to turn it around right away? And a lot of people aren't, because it's one thing to identify, all right, I'm not giving my best effort. It's another thing to actually do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very surreal moment. I mean, it was like, I had to look at myself in the mirror and see that, the promises that I made to myself in the beginning of the year, and I'm not keeping my words to it. So the only changes that I'm gonna make is that the only things that I can control is my work ethic. I mean, that's kind of what I did in 2025 in the beginning of it. I decided that I'm going to be the hardest working person in the room, which means that, I'm going to be calling the longest, and I'm going to be staying on the dialer the longest. I'm going to be working on my script the longest. And as a result, if the results happen in my favor, I can live with that. But, the effort is something that I'm going to be, controlling throughout the process.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that I remember reminding you is something that I framed was like, imagine everyone that you love is in a house, and the house is on fire, and you are sitting at the front door and you're looking. What do? Do you sit and wait and watch everything you love die? Or do you go in the house knowing that if you go in, there's no guarantee? Because the problem with most agents, and really most people in life, is they don't want to do anything unless there's a guarantee. And what I tried to tell you is that if you don't go in the house, the guarantee is that everything that you love and who you love dies.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a very real example that you gave me. I mean, once you gave me that example, I mean, it made it very clear that if this is how you're going to treat your life, I mean, you can't settle for the results that you're settling right now. You got to see it as a life or death. I mean, to me, it was very clear that if I'm going to be approaching real estate like my family, I need to attack it and not just settling every day for, what I'm settling right now.
Yeah, and the funny thing is people are like, well, my family aren't dying in the house. No, but all of your dreams are. All the things that you want to achieve. Everything that you want in your life is in that house, and most people don't do anything. That's the problem, is that most people literally, they sit and they watch their dream die because they're not willing to go into the house and try to save it. You have to realize something. the most important thing you need to be successful is you have to have courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is where you're absolutely scared shitless, but you just do it anyways. Because the truth is, if everyone in my life was in a house and I didn't go in, when they die, a part of me dies.
Absolutely, 100%. I
You
mean,
know?
when you said that, I mean, I felt a change in me that occurred that, I was not gonna, let my family obviously die. And it's the same thing that you have with your dreams. So once that belief kicked in, I mean, it made it clear for me that I was willing to do anything and everything to make my dreams come true.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, as I hear so many people say, I can't prospect consistently, but yet you can get up to the bathroom when you're sick consistently, right? I mean, let me ask you something. When you're sick and throwing up and you can't move, what percentage of the time are you able to get to the bathroom?
Every single time.
Why?
Yeah, because you just have to. I mean, or else you're gonna piss in bed.
Yeah, and the problem is that most people don't realize instead of pissing in their bed, they're pissing on their dream.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see that people literally can brush their teeth, they can use the bathroom, but they can't get themselves to do the one thing that will actually get them their dream. You know?
Absolutely.
It's one of the hardest parts as a coach is to watch people that have all of the potential, the mindset, they have everything, but they don't have the belief to do it consistently. Because to be a successful agent, the most important thing is consistently doing it day in and day out. And I saw from that point to the end of last year, I saw you building a consistent pattern of doing the work every single day. What did that feel like when you went back and just consistently said, I'm going to do it, not based on how I feel, because if I don't do it, I'm not going to get my dream.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I realized that, the results are not going to be in my control. That is something that you just truly have no control over. I mean, one of the things that I made it clear that if the amount of calls that I make and the amount of hours that I put into is in my control, and I'm going to do as much as I can and as consistently as I can. So as a result, that I'm willing to live with the outcome. And I think that made it extremely clear for me that if I'm willing to put X amount of hours into it and X amount of context into it, I'm willing to live with the results.
Yeah, I think so many people, they overestimate what they can do in 6 months or a year, and they completely underestimate. If you stack 1 year and 5 years and a decade, how different your life can be.
Yeah, I mean, it's significant. I mean, the leads that I had from a year from now were the same people that I'm calling now, and now they want to sell and buy, and it's the best feeling ever. Because one of the things that I noticed is that the work that we're doing right now is something that you'll get paid off 6 months from now or a year from now.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. I mean, the life cycle of a deal is normally anywhere between 60 to 90 days if you do it right, and for some people it can go as long as 6 months. And I think that's the part, is that when you're behind in real estate, you really aren't 30 days behind.
Yeah.
You're like 90 days behind.
Sure.
Now we go into 2025. You've been on the team for a year. You now have the tools. You now have the scripts, the dialogues. What do you think is the biggest difference this year as we sit in August of 2025 from where you were August of 2024?
The biggest difference is that in 2024, just calling the expireds scared me. I mean, I was scared calling the people. I figured that if I called them, they were going to yell at me, scream at me, tell me to get off the phone. I was incredibly nervous calling them. I mean, 2025, I made the approach that, these are the lead sources that I'm going to attack. Mm-hmm. And I think I've been pretty, successful doing them.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I saw is that instead of just focusing on the outcome, you just said, this is what I'm going to do. And regardless of what was happening day to day, you just stuck with it. And I think so many people underestimate, if you just do the same thing over and over and over, and every single day you call the expireds or the for sale boners, regardless of what happens day to day, you're getting better.
Yeah.
You're getting better response. And more importantly, people look at it as, oh my God, I'm not getting any leads. I'm failing. Not realizing that you're not failing. You actually are getting feedback. You're actually learning what questions to ask, what works. And one of the things that I really saw is I looked at 24, you followed part of the script. And then in 25, magically, you started following the script.
The script.
And it's amazing when people actually follow the script that I've created, it just works.
Yes.
So let me ask you something. Why in 2024 did you try to wing it, and then in 2025 you decided, if it worked for Mike, it'll work for me?
I mean, I think the main reason is that it's just the self-belief in itself. I mean, when you're feeling like when you're talking to prospects and they're attacking you, saying they take you off the list or giving you objection handlers, and you haven't really worked on it, I mean, you feel like, it's, the script that you have isn't gonna, get you the result. Because again, they're telling you something and you're not prepared for it. So the immediate reaction is just go off script and just tell you and just, respond to them in a way that you haven't responded before. And the typical answer that you get is that, click, I'm not interested.
Right. Well, let me ask you then, what are the one or two objections that you find yourself struggling the most with expires? Because, I get a lot of DMs from people that watch it. Hey, I love it. But they're like, hey, can you do some role play? So, I like to give people some live feedback of what you need to say in this market to actually be successful. So what are one or two things that when you're talking to expireds that you personally really need to improve or that you hear day in and day out?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've been noticing is that, everybody is saying the same thing, which is that I don't want to sell the property now and I want to wait until next year because, again, the market isn't good right now.
Okay. So why don't we do a quick thing? You are going to be the seller. Let's say that when you sell this, you're going to go buy a bigger house.
Sure, let's do it.
You've been on the market for 70 days.
Sure, let's do it.
All right, so tell me that you're going to wait.
Mike, I appreciate you calling me right now. I'm going to wait until next year for the market to get better. So why don't you just give me a call next year? We'll go from there.
Sure. That's certainly an option. I guess for you, are you wanting to wait because you just want to enjoy the house you have now a little bit more? Is it that you honestly aren't sure if right now is honestly the best time to sell? Because believe it or not, it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's a good time to sell right now. We've been on the market for about 70 plus days, and our agent recommended that the market isn't good right now, and and we hold on to the property until next year, and then we just proceed like that.
Okay. Well, let me ask you whether you do it in 3 years, next year, or you decided to do it now. I guess if you sell it, you get a good price, and everything goes as planned. Do you have another house that you already have that you're going to move into, or are you going to end up purchasing something once it sells?
We're going to be purchasing something. I mean, this is our, primary right now. We have a family of, 3 kids.
Wow.
We live in a townhouse, 3 rooms, 2.5 bath. We have a family that's growing. But again, we certainly will be buying a house, in the next 1 or 2 years.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you're selling just to give your family more space, correct?
Absolutely, 100%.
How important is that for you, whether it's later or sooner?
I mean, the idea was for us to do it sooner, but because, our house didn't sell, we just decided to hold on to it and just wait until next year.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like a lot of sellers now, you have 2 choices, and they're obviously both really good. Number one is that you could wait until the spring. I think the good thing for you is that when you get into September, October, November, you're going to see the Fed lower the interest rates, which is going to drive a lot more buyers to the property, which is going to give you a lot more appreciation on the property. You probably get an extra, 5 to 7%. So if you're on the spring and you're getting 5 to 7%, I mean, you're probably going to be a lot happier than you are now, correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an option.
Right. I think the only challenge you have is that you also are buying a bigger property. And obviously, if the value of your house goes up 5 to 7%, what do you think is happening to the house that you want to buy that's much bigger? Because that's probably also going up 5 to 7%, correct?
I mean, that could. I mean, if the rates go up another 1.5%, I mean, the value of my house could go potentially down. But at the same time, the value of the house that I also will be buying could also go down. So I think it could be a win-win for me.
Well, I mean, let me ask you something. If the value of your house was to go up, and then the value of the other house would go up, how much money did you actually make by waiting?
I mean, not a whole lot.
Okay. But if you were to sell your property now and buy at a much lower price, knowing that, again, in September, October, November, the rates will come down, instead of actually paying an extra 5 to 7%, wouldn't you have 5 to 7% equity in your property?
I mean, I could. I mean, that was kind of like the plan that we had this year. I mean, which is why we listed the property on the market as we did. But again, since it is not a good time to sell, our house didn't sell, and our agent recommended that we just wait until next year. I mean, that's good. That's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay, and the thing is, you can wait. I guess if you were to wait, if you have 2 choices where in one scenario you wait, get equity, and then you give it all away, or number 2, you actually buy it at a lower price and get to keep the equity, what's the better investment? Because you have to understand something. Either way, you're going to wait. If you stay in your house now, you're going to wait, and eventually the value will go up, correct?
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
And if you buy the house you want to be in, which is bigger, you give your kids the space, you're going to wait, and the value of that house will go up, correct?
Sure.
The only difference is that if you stay in your current house, When you sell, you have to give all of your proceeds to buy the next house, where if you wait in the house you want to be in, you actually get to keep all of the equity. So, I mean, from a financial situation, what's better, giving all of your family's equity to somebody else, or buying what you want, waiting, and actually giving all of that equity back to your family?
I mean, certainly keeping it and obviously keeping it for my family. But again, that was kind of like the reason why we wanted to do it this year. And because it didn't work out, so, I mean, we just figured we just wait until next year.
Okay, but I guess if I could show you that you'd be able to get an extra 5 or 7% versus giving it all away, I mean, potentially, wouldn't that be a better option?
I mean, everybody says the same thing. I mean, our agent said the same thing, that he would get us the most amount of money for our home. I mean, we made the decision upon what he said. I mean, looks like, the rates have gone up significantly and there's more inventory in the market. I just don't see that we can get, 5 or 7% for our home.
Well, I mean, let me ask you something. Whether it's the end of this year or next year, when interest rates come down, what do you think will happen to the value of homes?
I'm not sure. I'm not a real estate expert.
Well, I mean, let me ask you something. It worked because right now you're qualified right for $1 million on what you told me.
Yeah.
If the interest rates go from 7 to 5, you're going to qualify for a house at like 1.3.
Sure.
So if you can get a 1.3 house for the same price as $1 million house, what do you think you and most people would do?
I mean, how would you do it? I mean, we tried doing it. It didn't work out.
Well, I mean, let me ask you something. Would the past performance of a real estate agent be something that you would view as being important?
I mean, we did. I mean, when we hired our real estate agent, we looked at his track record. I mean, he said that he sold 20 homes, which is pretty phenomenal. I think most agents, he did mention that they do between 2 to 3 houses a year. So we hired him because of that. I mean, I don't see what would be a factor in you.
Well, I think when you look here, I mean, as you can see here, I got your agent's track record up right here. He did sell 20, but interesting, in the last 5 months, he's only sold 2.
Oh, wow.
So what does that tell you about past performance versus current performance?
I mean, I did not know he sold, 2 homes right now.
I mean, let me ask you something. I think, one of the things that a lot of sellers today, and honestly, I think a lot of agents don't understand, is that last year and really the last 5 years, 9 out of 10 houses sold.
Oh, wow.
Right now, 5 out of 10 houses are selling, which means as an agent, we know we need to get twice as many buyers in the property to get an offer, and we know there's 2 ways to do it. Number one is we can double down on the marketing to get twice as many buyers in the same period, or it just simply takes 2 to 3 times as long to sell it. And the problem is the longer you're on the market, you open yourself up to people that have to sell. Because let's face it, there are some people in the marketplace, unlike you, that have to sell. And when someone has to sell their house, do they hold firm for a price, or do they take what they can get?
I think they would probably sell.
Yeah. So if people take what they can get, and you get 2 or 3 people that have to sell in any market, what happens to the true value of your house?
I mean, hope it goes up.
Well, you would hope it goes up, but I mean, can the value of your house go up when everyone around you is bringing their price down?
I mean, I did a lot of upgrades to my home. I believe my house is truly unique. I mean, we've spent, $20,000, $30,000 worth of repair. I think my house is truly unique.
I mean, it is unique, but one of the things you may not understand is that there's also a lot of other properties that are unique. I mean, you have to think, if you put $20,000 or $30,000 worth of updates and a house is $50,000 less, which one do you think most buyers would probably be drawn to?
I would say probably the one that's cheaper.
Yeah, because they can take $50,000 and they could put your $30,000 worth of updates, and then they could have $20,000 for themselves, or they could get a couple more goodies, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I think I believe that, I certainly believe that you can get my home sold. I certainly believe that. You certainly speak with confidence. You certainly know what you're talking about. But obviously, as the owner, I got to ask you, what are some of your fees that you do charge?
Well, I mean, I think commission is obviously very subjective, determining on how much money you're going to be offering the co-op agent.
Okay.
I guess for you, are you looking to focus more on the commission, or are you focusing more on the value that the commission brings, which a lot of people don't understand?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to be reducing, the value of my property, and, if I'm going to be taking a hit on the price, I mean, I certainly want you to not charge me as high as you charge.
Well, I think, we have some choices, and obviously they're both good for you. I think number one is that we could split the commission equally like we've normally done. Or what a lot of people are doing, honestly, is they're taking some of the buying agent commission and they're reallocating it to marketing, because, again, if we need to get twice as many buyers in the property to sell, would you rather me double the marketing so that your house sells faster because we can get double the amount of people in? Or would you rather the property sit on the market 2 to 3 times as long? Because here's the thing. You either allocate more to commission, or at the end of the day, you're going to allocate it to 2 or 3 price reductions. And the average price reduction is 2 to 3%.
Okay, so what's your commission then?
Well, I mean, I would recommend that we do 2.5% to the buying agent, which is fair. And I think we put 3.5 into marketing because, again, that gives us enough money to spend to do twice as much marketing. Because here's the thing. If we don't do that and your property sits on the market like all the other houses, are you going to have to reduce your price?
Yeah, but I had a Redfin agent that reached out to me, I believe, yesterday. I believe they said that they charge 1%, which was very attractive. I mean, as a homeowner,
Well,
I certainly want to save a lot of money. I mean, I'm paying you, I believe, anywhere between $10,000 to $15,000 worth of commission. So I think me paying less money will help me, net the most amount of money.
well, I think the reason they do it at 1% is I want you to understand something. Redfin competes directly with Zillow. Redfin takes all of their advertising dollars, and instead of promoting Zillow, they promote Redfin to get buyers to go to that platform. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
The challenge is that 98% of buyers in the entire world go to where first?
Redfin?
No, you would hope so. 98% of people go to Zillow.
Zillow, yeah.
So the challenge you have with Redfin and why they only charge 1% is because they're only able to market to 2% of the market. Because again, if 98% of people go to Zillow, how much money is Redfin reallocating to promote Zillow?
I mean, it sounds like they're not going to be spending a whole lot of money.
Right. So if you're missing out on 98% of the people, what do you think that happens in terms of marketing, the amount of people that know about your property, and the length of time it's going to take to sell the house?
I mean, what you're saying makes sense. I mean, so what form of marketing do you do? I mean, everybody lists the property on Zillow. I mean, what makes you any better than, 99% of the agents
Well,
in the
I mean,
marketplace?
we do a lot of things. And I think, at the end of the day, let me ask you something. Do you care what an agent tells you they do, or do you care that they have proof that they do it? Because I think every agent that you talk to, like the last agent, can tell you that they're going to sell the property, they're going to do photos, they're going to put it online. But wouldn't you agree that the past and current performance is obviously much more valuable than simply telling you what we do? Because me telling you we're going to do it, does that guarantee that I'm going to do it?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. When you go to a doctor and you're about to go in surgery and they're about to hit you with anesthesia, do you ask for the 1,000 things that are going to happen while you're asleep? Or do you just want to know that when you wake up, you're going to have a smile?
No, I just want to have a smile.
Right. And that's why people like you work with people like me, because they know when they sign a contract, they're going to wake up and there's going to be a big sold sign. So what I propose is let's go ahead and meet. Let me get started, because the truth is that you right now are in probably one of the best family neighborhoods, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of, we have a lot of families that have kids. I mean, we have good schools nearby, good community. I certainly believe that.
Yeah, and so I want you to think about something. With school starting in the next couple weeks, do you think there's more people that want to identify a house or move in the next 3 or 4 weeks? Or do you think there's a lot more buyers that want to move in the next 3 or 4 months, well after school starts?
I mean, I certainly believe that, if we're going to be, if my house is in a family or in a neighborhood, I believe that, these type of group of peoples are going to be moving in before the school start.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if you were in May or June, I would tell you to kind of take your time and think about it. But the truth is we really don't have any time. So what I propose is let me come out this afternoon. I'm going to show you a totally different way to sell it. Obviously, a much more aggressive approach. And more importantly, I'm going to show you, instead of marketing to the 2%, at 1%, I'm going to show you how we get the 98% of the buyers, and that's how you get more money. So would you like me to swing by at 5, or was 6 a little easier?
We can try something at 6.
Yeah, and the truth is that you all have to have the ability to stay on the phone with a seller and go back and forth, because the truth is your income is going to be in direct proportion to your ability to stay on the phone with the seller, not get angry, but to walk them down. Because remember, logic makes people think, but emotion is what makes people act. So let me ask you something. As you've started to go out on your own listing presentations, what has that been like? Because I think one of the most terrifying things, I think, for a lot of agents is to go head to head with a seller. And unfortunately, a lot of you out there, your owner or whoever's running it, I mean, they don't really prepare you. They say, here's a book, go. Now, you have the opportunity to obviously watch Christian and me do it over and over, but What is it like, even with you knowing what to say, because you watched us do it, to go head to head with the seller?
I mean, believe it or not, I mean, it seems much easier than it is actually is. I mean, because the most difficult part is just that, the anticipation leading up to it. Because you believe that, the seller is going to be 20 feet tall and they're going to talk down to you, yell at you, and tell you to get out of their house. And, the reality is that, all of these games are just in your own mind. And, it's nothing like that in person. I mean, I've watched you do it at the highest level, and I've certainly seen Christian do it at the highest level. But until I did it myself, oh my God, I mean, it was truly difficult. I mean, it was nothing like I had seen. It was completely different. I mean, I thought I knew how to answer these questions when I would meet a seller, but it was completely off.
Yeah,
it's very challenging.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things from last year to this year is, I think, one of the things you're working on, I think a lot of agents need to work on, is we need to make sure that we are not over-promising and under-delivering. For the last 3 or 4 years, it was easy to say, you know what, list your house, I'm going to get you 30 offers, you're going to get 25, 30 grand over the asking price, I'm going to be a hero. And unfortunately now, if you tell them the same thing with 5 out of 10 houses selling, what happens?
Oh no, it doesn't happen. I mean, you tell them that you're gonna get them $20, $30, $40,000 with multiple offers, and the reality is multiple offers are only gonna get you, list price. And I mean, it's frustrating because I've had that situation recently, and it's not fun because the expectations are set so high, and the sellers are expecting more than the listed price. And the reality is that, that's just not, the market, telling you right now.
Yeah, because I think it's important that everyone understand that, when you're talking to the seller, if you get an offer in the first 14 to 20 days, the chances are it's probably going to come in maybe at list, probably a little bit less. That's just the reality of the market. And, if you get multiple offers, a lot of times we're seeing full price but no concessions. And I think those are the kind of expectations we need to make sure that we're having with sellers. Because again, I was in an appointment 2 weeks ago that I got, and I remember the seller saying, well, the other agent said they could get me more. And my response was, well, let me ask you a better question. Are they buying it? Because unless they're writing the check for the property, how can they guarantee you that someone will pay you $50,000 more than what any other house in your neighborhood has? Because remember, do you care what someone says they can do for you, or do you care that they've actually done it?
Yeah, I mean, the track record certainly speaks, and the market certainly speaks for now.
Right. So let me ask you something. What are some of the things that you could give people in terms of advice as you started going on listing appointments that they could use? Because again, people today now are faced with sellers that have a different set of expectations. These sellers think that we're still in COVID market. And the truth is, the market's changed now. What have you had to do differently in those presentations to shift the seller's mindset?
I would say is like certainly setting the expectations, letting them know that it's not the same market as it was in COVID. I mean, a lot of the sellers are feeling that, if I list my property, I could potentially walk away with, more money. But that's just not the reality right now. I mean, right now, the rates have gone up significantly higher. And as a result, the buyer's ability to purchase a house isn't a lot. So which means that any buyer, I would say 2 or 3 buyers that we're getting, I mean, you'll get potentially, one offer. I would say, just prepping them and letting them know that, hey, it's not the same market as it was before, which means that, 5 out of 10 homes are selling, which means that, for you guys, at this point, getting, the list price is going to be the best price right now, because if you don't do it now, the market is going to slowly start to tank, and, the price that you're getting now will not be the same as, after 6 months from now.
Right. So as you're going on more and more appointments now, I mean, I believe in July you took 8 listings.
Yes, I did.
So let me ask you something. How do you go from taking no listings in 2024 to taking 8 in the month of July?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, it didn't start this month. I mean, I've been working, the preparation was, a while ago. I mean, I've been preparing myself for this moment, 6, 7, 8 months ago. And every day I would practice on my dialogue, my scripts. I would role play with the guys in the office. And I think, it's just a compounding effect that took over, that immediately. So for me, it worked, the compounding effect worked. But again, it wasn't just that month. It was just the preparation leading up to it.
Yeah, I've had a lot of brokers and, team leads, reach out to me and talk about, in your company, do you promote competitiveness? Because, a lot of people view agents being competitive with one another as bad. And I've always viewed it as being good, because in the real world there's an animal kingdom. There's always one person that's better than the other, and the truth is that anyone in a company could be that person if they're willing to put the work in. And I think one of the cool things about our company is that we not only have people that are competing with one another, but you have people that also are building people up. I remember when I was coming up, if you want to be the best, there's two things to do: rip everybody down so that you're the tallest building, or build everybody up so it forces you to have to build a couple extra floors to be better. And I think that's one of the things with our culture, is that everybody is pushing everyone to be better, and yet we also have people that at the same time, they want to sell more than you. So, I mean, what is that like going in and seeing that there's an order of operations where people are doing better than others, and if I want to be the number one agent, then I'm going to have to change some of the things that I do?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly starts from the mindset. I mean, you kind of have to realize that there's only finite amount of people that are going to be selling and buying throughout the year. And, there's so many agents that are competing for the same opportunity. I mean, you kind of have to realize that it is a competition after all. I mean, we have about, 15 to 18 agents in our office, and everybody's going for the same, seller or a buyer, calling them at the same time. But, the separator is just the mindset and just the preparation that you do before that. I mean, we have an incredible team in our office. All of us, we want the best for each other. We prepare, we role play together, we practice together. And, all of us are, just at the end of the day, we're just, helping each other get better.
Yeah, I think it was pretty cool that, I remember, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, Kareem was packing up to leave, and I think you had come back with another listing, and Kareem looked at me and was like, and he got back on the phone, and I remember, I think I left at like 7:20, and I look on my phone at 7:40, and he had just set another appointment. And I just think that's the beauty, if you can build a team where people are competing with one another, but at the same time, they're building each other up. Because like, if I try to break you down, that doesn't make me better. And I think that's what you find with a lot of real estate agents, is they want to talk bad about other people to try to make them seem better. But the truth is, you should want your competition to be better, because if you want to be better than them, it forces you to either have to practice more, get your skills better, or talk to more people. And I think that's the beauty about real estate, is that anybody can go from number 100 to number one if they're willing to put the work in. So when you're on listing appointments, what do you think is the 1 or 2 objections you're getting that you really think that you need to work on to make sure that in 2026 you have a better year? Because what a lot of agents don't understand is that between now and the end of the year, you are auditioning for who you want to be in 2026. And what I mean by that is you're auditioning, can I keep the productive schedule? What habits do I need to change? And where, from a mindset perspective, do I need to be to achieve what I want? So what are some of the things on the listing presentation side, since that's the area you've really worked on this year, that you really feel like if you could just work on those 1 or 2 things, you probably would be a lot better?
Yeah, great question. I mean, recently, I mean, I've been, focusing a lot more on the expireds. I mean, as most people know that, expireds, that obviously they're frustrated, they're angry, they're just annoyed from agents calling them. So anytime, I set an appointment, they're obviously talking to me, but at the same time, they have like 2 or 3 other agents that they're talking to after. Right. So that's actually one of the things that I'm actually working on right now.
Yeah, I think the other thing in terms of listing property that every single real estate agent has to work on is pre-qualifying the seller before you go out. Obviously, when you're talking to a seller and you set up an appointment, you always want to find out why they want to move, when they want to move, where they want to move, what they owe on the property, what their expectations are in terms of price. And obviously you want to ask them, if I come out and what I say makes sense, you feel comfortable, you feel confident, I'll do a good job for you, would you be open to letting me get started? Which is good, because the skills to set an appointment is a little bit different than the skills you need to pre-qualify. What I mean is, when you're pre-qualifying the seller, one of the things that I always tell them is, before I come out, I'm going to call and I'm going to confirm that time works for you. I know schedules change, and I want to be super respectful of your time. The truth is, whose time am I trying to be super respectful of?
Mine and theirs.
Yeah, because the truth is that you don't want to waste your time on someone that obviously isn't ready. So one of the things that I do is that if I see they're at 8:50 and it needs to be at 7:50 or 7:75, I need to call that seller back up and ask a couple of additional questions to make sure
Yeah.
that that appointment is actually worth going on. Because one of the biggest problems a lot of you are going to have, if you don't do this last step, you're going to go on a lot of unqualified appointments where you either take listings that are too high and never sell, or you're going to go out and waste your time talking to someone that will never ever lower the price. So I want you to be a seller. You wanted $850. I'm calling you back to confirm the appointment, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Hi, this is Mike with EXP Real Estate. I was calling first to confirm our appointment for later tonight at 5. Does that time still work for you?
Yeah, Mike. I mean, I'm available to meet at 5.
Great. I'm so excited. I did have a question for you. After talking to some of the agents and some of the appraisers and kind of looking over some of the comparable homes, I'm curious, did you personally pick out the price that you were listed at, or did the previous agent recommend that price?
Yeah, I mean, that was the price that I actually did come up with because I'm looking for a very specific number.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
I want to get that price for sure.
Good. Now, did you base that specific number on active homes that were selling, or did you base that on the 2 or 3 properties that had recently sold that were similar to yours?
I would say a little bit of both. I mean, we believe that, the work that we did to the home certainly, is related to the price that we're asking. So it's a little bit of both, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the pictures that you had previously look really good. The only reason I ask is that I know that you obviously wanted $850. And when I looked at the last 3 properties that sold that were very similar in terms of size in your neighborhood specifically,
Right.
they were selling at $750. The highest one I could find was at $775, and that was on a bigger lot and had similar updates. I guess for you, when I meet with you, are you open to having a conversation around price?
I mean, yeah, but I'm very firm on the price that I'm looking for, which is, $850.
Right, and obviously if I could get you 9, I would, because obviously I want to get you the most amount of money. But I think one of the things that I just want to make sure that you understand, and if the previous agent didn't go over that, I apologize, is that I need you to understand that in the last 5 years, 9 out of 10 houses sold. Right now, 5 out of 10 houses are selling. So what we know right now as an agent is that we need to get twice as many buyers in the property
Okay.
to get an offer. And I want you to think about something. If we put the property too high, do you think it's going to take less time or a lot more time to get the number of buyers we need to get your home sold?
I mean, I don't believe that I'm asking for a lot. I mean, what I'm asking is very reasonable. I think it's a very reasonable price that any buyer would pay for a home like mine. Because again, it's a very unique property. I've done a lot of work to it, and I certainly believe that since you're a real estate agent, you might know somebody that can that's willing to purchase my home.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are willing to do it because obviously it's in one of the best family neighborhoods. It's obviously completely updated. The only challenge you have is that there's other houses in your community, actually right around the corner, 0.1 and 0.2 miles.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. One of them did start at $850.
Yeah.
They dropped to $825. They dropped down to $775, and they're the one that sold at $750. That was pretty close. I think your property is a little bit better than that. I think that you have a patio in the back, which certainly I think will give you a little bit more value. And then you had the other one that was a little bit smaller that started at $800, and you could see they dropped down to $775, $750, and they got an offer at $755. So, I mean, I guess for you, when we're talking about price later on, I guess, are you open to having a conversation about where we should price it at? And the reason I say that is there's some sellers I talk to that no matter what the comps say, they want their price or nothing. And I just want to come out and waste your time, because the truth is, if we listed at $850,000 with the last 3 comps selling no more than $775, what are the chances we can get a buyer to buy it? And number 2, how do we even get it to appraise?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm very firm on the price that I'm asking for. I think, if I don't get the price that I get, the chances of me selling the home isn't likely. So I think I'm just going to stick with the price that I'm asking for.
Okay, well, I think that, there's something that I want you to understand, because I think it's important, is that you're going to buy another house. And I think one of the things that a lot of sellers don't understand is that in this market, because of where buyers are, prices overall in Northern Virginia are just simply coming down. I mean, when we see properties in your neighborhood, everyone has started at $800 to $850, and everyone has ended at $750 to $775. So one of the things you have to understand is that the house that you're going to buy that seller is actually experiencing the same thing as you. They're not getting what they want for the property. So I guess for you, if you have to sell your property for less, which is market value, and that seller over there has to sell his property for less, because remember, that seller over there is probably not going to get anyone to pay $50,000 or $70,000 over the asking price, because remember, 5 out of 10 houses are selling. Nobody is overpaying for a house. In this market, people are simply buying a house. So, I mean, I guess for you, if you take less here, but obviously you get to buy another house less there, I guess, is that a conversation that you'd be open to? Because again, I want to be respectful of your time.
I mean, honestly, I don't really want to have that conversation, but if it's something that can obviously help my position, and obviously if I can get something close to what I'm looking for, I think maybe we can have a conversation, but I certainly don't want to drop down the price a lot.
Okay, well, then let me ask you a better question, and let's go the other way.
Okay.
Let's say that you say, I will not sell for anything less than $850, right?
Mike, I'm not going to sell my property anything less than $850.
Sure. So here's the thing. If the value of your house now is $750 to $775, which is where houses around you are selling for, I guess in a normal market with prices going up 2 to 3%, how long do you think you'd have to wait to make up the difference?
I don't know.
Well, let's just say it took 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
You got the extra $75,000, right?
Okay.
You're happy. You're excited. The challenge you have is that house that you just wanted to go buy, that also went up $50,000 to $75,000, because when the value of your house goes up in the marketplace, so does the other house. So if you wait 2 or 3 years and you get your price, but then you overpay for the other house, what did you really gain by waiting?
Nothing really. I mean, I just paid more for the next house.
Yeah, but I want you to consider something, because again, I'm not kind of those agents that force you or try to pressure you, but if you were able to sell now at a lower price, but you were able to buy the other house at a lower price, when interest rates pull down in September, October, November, and all the buyers flood in the market, instead of having to pay more for the same house you could buy less now, you would actually be able to keep all the equity in the property. So anything that you think you're going to lose, you obviously are going to make up, because here's the thing. If you choose not to sell, you're waiting, correct?
Yeah.
And if you buy the house here that you want, you also are going to have to wait, correct?
Yep.
So you're going to wait in either one of those two houses, correct?
Sure.
The only thing is, if you wait in the other house, any proceeds you make, you have to give away. Whereas if you can buy and wait in the house you want, you actually get to keep all the equity. I guess long term, what is a better investment? Giving any and all proceeds that you make from this point to the time that you sell it, or actually keeping all the proceeds from now to the time that you sell it?
I mean, long-term speaking, I think it certainly makes sense for me to be in a house where it's going to appreciate.
Yeah.
And it certainly, makes sense for me to be in a house where I'm going to be living there.
Yeah, because I want you to think about something. I mean, do you judge a good market based on prices going up, or are you making money?
I mean, certainly me.
Yeah, so if you stay in this house and all you do is have to forfeit your equity because you're going to have to overpay for the next house, you actually aren't making anything by staying, are you?
No, not really.
Great. So I'm excited about the opportunity of coming out tonight at 5 and showing you exactly how we're going to sell your property, but more importantly, how we're going to get you into the next house. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
And that's how it's done. I mean, those are the kind of conversations that you have to master in this market if you're going to be successful. So before we get done here, Robin, I want you to give advice to any agent that's brand new, any agent that's struggling. What are 2 or 3 things that you would recommend them do that have helped you progress, literally from someone that didn't take any listings last year to literally taking 8 last month?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I would recommend any newcomers, anybody that's starting out right now, is that, to seek out somebody, obviously like yourself, somebody who's been in the business for 20 plus years, and somebody that has the knowledge and the experience. Because again, it's a different journey when you're going through it by yourself versus having somebody walk you through the path. Because your career is gonna be much better when you have somebody that's walking you down the path versus when you're by yourself. Because are there times when you're gonna go through difficult times and you have nobody to call or ask for help? Yes, but when you have somebody like you, it certainly helps.
Yeah, it's funny that it really took me 15 to 20 years to really feel like I had mastered real estate. And the truth is like when I coach people one-on-one, I think that within 5 to 7 years, if they put the work in, they could make $1 million. Because the truth is, is that income builds infrastructure for a lot of those people. And I think a lot of people underestimate the power of mentorship and the power of people that have already done it, helping them. Because, I think one of the biggest expenses in life is not your mortgage, it's not your car payment, it's not taxes, it's the cost of not knowing.
Absolutely, 100%.
When you look at yourself that sold 2 houses the first 12 months, and you look at yourself taking 8 listings last month, the only difference between those 2 people is that you both were 6'7", you both were good looking, but the cost is that now you know and before you didn't. I mean, that is what I mean when I say the cost of not knowing. I want all of you to understand the biggest expense you have is the cost of not knowing. So many people invest in BMWs and Mercedes. They like to buy Apple computers. They like to buy watches. But very few people actually invest in themselves. And the truth is, the ultimate investment in anyone's life is investing in yourself. So I appreciate it. I look forward to having you back next year so that people can see an agent that does 8 listings in July, what they can do a year later.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate it.
Great. And for any of you out there that have questions about this, DM me. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
All right, take it easy.